Straight ahead on CTV News tonight, a sad farewell for Jada Medrano Moore.
This is a huge loss for our community, and we can't afford it. We can't continue. We cannot afford this.
Saying goodbye to a teenager struck down by violence. Good evening. This is CTV News. I'm Patricia Vallone. Well, emotions ran high this morning as family and friends gathered to honor the life of a teen girl who was tragically killed last week. The viewing and funeral services for 16-year-old Jada Medrano Moore were held here at Reed Temple Church today. The teenager was fatally shot when she stepped in to defuse a dispute between two groups near Duval High School back on September 11th. County Executive Angela Alsobrooks, who attended the viewing, called Jada a hero.
This is the most devastating thing. This beautiful, beautiful young woman who was a hero, who put herself in harm's way, went out there to try to defuse this, and she's the person who lost her life in all of this. I mean, she was a total star from Team Elite. She was a basketball star. She was a star in her school.
And I came out to show respect for the courage that that young lady demonstrated. She protected another PG County public school student. It was her brother, but she still protected.
It's hard to discuss, you know. It's very sad to see something like that happen. And not only her, anyone today now.
Meantime, the alleged gunman, a 17-year-old from Charles Flowers High School, now faces murder, assault, and weapons charges for Jada's death. And a 17-year-old junior at Fairmont Heights High School is in police custody after bringing a loaded gun to school. The incident happened just after 11 this morning when school administrators were notified that the teen was in possession of illegal drugs. During a search, the gun and drugs were recovered. The student will be charged as an adult and is facing a slew of charges, including possession of a firearm by a minor, possession of a controlled substance, and use of a machine gun for aggressive purposes. Well, one person is injured when two cars collide and crash into a gas pump at a Laurel gas station. It happened just before noon in the 300 block of Washington Boulevard. Investigators say the pump and two cars burst into flames. Hazmat crews were able to quickly contain the flames. One person was treated for minor injuries. The cause remains under investigation. And as we told you earlier in the week, healthcare workers have voted to approve a strike at Kaiser Permanente. Now, workers in D.C., Maryland, and Virginia are threatening to walk off the job by the end of the month if no agreement is reached. Members of OEPIU Local 2 accuse the company of engaging in unfair labor practices. Union officials say the workers who may walk cover a vast number of positions,
which would be all of lab, all of pharmacy, x-ray, your membership services, your call centers, your optometrist, your pharmacist, so all your vision, front desk people, your medical records people. So it's pretty much, it's a lot of, it's over 4,000 of our bargaining unit.
Some 65,000 Kaiser Permanente workers in 4 western states recently voted to authorize a strike. And you're watching CTV News. I'm Patricia Vallone. We'll be back in just a moment.
No young person should ever have to worry about having a safe place to sleep at night, or whether anyone cares about them.
But the reality is, 1 in 10 young adults will experience a form of homelessness this year.
For over 50 years, Covenant House has been helping youth in crisis and giving them the support and tools they need to succeed in life. To learn more, go to covenanthouse.org today. Thank you for caring.
Welcome back. Well, police are asking for your help finding a missing man. This is 65-year-old Charles Ross. He was last seen on Tuesday in the 15,700 block of Bradford Drive in Laurel. Ross is 5'9" and weighs 185 pounds. He was wearing a black and white shirt and gray pants. If you know anything about his whereabouts, you're asked to contact police. And we also reported yesterday that Montgomery County Council members have introduced a bill that would phase out the tipped minimum wage for service workers. The legislation, led by Will Jawando, would require employers to pay a full minimum wage with tips on top of that. Now, Jawando says the measure would affect nearly 15,000 workers in the county.
There are 7 states fully, 10, we're on the way to 10 states that have already done this. So many things that feed into prices, right? We saw inflation, eggs, food costs, all that go into prices. What this is saying is that that's not going to change. There's still going to be a mix of things, but we can't balance it on the back of paying a sub-minimum wage for workers.
And Montgomery County will hold a public hearing on Bill 3523 on October 10th at 1:30 p.m. Well, Amazon is hiring thousands of new employees for the holiday season. Here in Maryland, the company is hiring 9,000 workers to help with deliveries. Full-time, seasonal, and part-time jobs are available. More than 400 positions are open in Prince George's County. Well, walking or biking on area roadways can sometimes be a challenge, and sometimes it can be quite dangerous. That's why Prince George's Council member Eric Olson has introduced a bill called the Walkable Urban Streets Act. The measure would require updates to county infrastructure standards for streets, as well as pedestrian and bicycle safety.
So it's slowing down traffic in our most urban areas. We should not be having speeding cars, around our metro stations and around our, where there's a lot of people, where there's a lot of pedestrians and where we want a lot of pedestrians. Street design helps the driver to feel like they have to slow down. It's not just posting a speed limit sign that says go slower. It's making the lanes a little bit narrower. It's making sure that the turns are a little tighter. So that people actually have to come to a real slow and stop when they make a turn. It's decreasing the distance that people have to cross across an intersection. It's reducing where you have 2 left turns, say, maybe only 1 is needed. That type of thing.
And a hearing on the bill will take place September 28th before the Transportation Committee. Olson says he's hopeful that the measure will pass the council this fall. And Council Vice Chair Wallab Legay introduces legislation that would establish a new task force to deal with land use and development planning goals. The measure would be called the Plan Prince George's 2035 Group and Implementation and Infrastructure Task Force. The current general plan, which was approved in 2014, sets specific targets for development near transit areas. Legay says, according to a recent planning report, 50% of new development, particularly townhomes, are outside of those areas. And the best kept secret in Prince George's is celebrating their 30th birthday, or 30th anniversary rather, for the past 3 decades. The training source has helped thousands of county residents find work and resources to sustain themselves and their families. The nonprofit provides services and training to county residents who have been adversely impacted by systematic barriers to employment, housing, and education. The organization was recently nominated for a True Inspiration Award.
We will earn somewhere between $30,000 and $350,000 to provide services to impact the community. Voting must be done on the Chick-fil-A app, and it must be done by Saturday, the 23rd. And so we need everybody who is listening to please, if you haven't already downloaded the app to avoid the long lines, download that app. Go to rewards, go to news, select the Northeast region, and then select the training source to win that $350,000 prize. And all it will do is help us to be bigger and better in doing the things that we do that are already so impactful.
And the training source has its anniversary gala on October 4th at the Harborside Hotel in Oxon Hill. Still to come, your Thursday Sports Page with Simon Buggs. Stay with us.
What's going on, everybody? And coming up on your Wednesday sports page, a recap of the Washington Mystics playoff game versus the New York Liberty that was played yesterday, and also the Terps softball team makes another hire to their coaching staff. Stay right there.
Prince George's Community Television, the home for everything Prince George's, is gearing up to start our media training and classes. Come to PGCTV and get hands-on training in field production, studio production, producing and directing, podcasting, and video editing, and take your skills to the next level. Classes begin October 3rd. Register now.
Waiting periods for some expungement petitions will shorten beginning October 1st. That's when a new Maryland law goes into effect. SB 37, known as the Redeem Act of 2023, cuts the waiting time in half for an expungement. Misdemeanors will only take 5 years instead of 10 to expunge, and felonies will take 7 years instead of 15. The measure includes expungements for cannabis-related convictions. A local man has been arrested and charged with the transportation of child porn. On Tuesday, 32-year-old Aaron Davis of Suitland was arrested and charged after allegedly giving child porn material to a D.C. undercover police officer. That undercover officer works with the Child Exploitation and Human Trafficking Task Force. And food giant Kraft Heinz announces it's recalling more than 83,000 cases of Kraft Singles American cheese due to a potential choking hazard. The recall came after the company discovered a manufacturing problem that could cause plastic film to stick to the cheese. The recall applies to 16-ounce and 3-pound multi-packs with use-by dates of January 10th through January 27th, 2024. You can call Kraft Heinz at 1-800-280-8252 to see if the item is part of the recall and to receive reimbursement.
Okay, everyone, it's time for your Wednesday sports page. We'll start with some WNBA news. The Washington Mystics took the court yesterday against the New York Liberty in the second game of the semifinal matchup of the WNBA playoffs. But unfortunately, the Mystics season will come to a close, losing in overtime 90-85. And Mystics forward Elena Del Don reflected on the tough loss.
It's hard to get over a heartbreak of, some of the lack of discipline that we had that just couldn't finish the game. And then you've got a team with so many scorers, and at that point, some of us were in foul trouble. So they're able to kind of make us pay at that point. On their home floor, it's really tough to not finish the game when we felt like we could have, and then have to go and play in an overtime with this crowd, those type of players, some people in foul trouble. It just makes it really tough. We put ourselves in a really hard position.
Washington will have to wait until next year to make a run at the title. Switching to Terps basketball, the schedule for the men's basketball 2023-2024 season was recently released. The Terps will host a ton of Big Ten Conference foes at Xfinity Center, such as Penn State, Purdue, Michigan, and Michigan State. They'll face some tough competition as 8 of their opponents made the NCAA tournament this past season. The Terps will begin their season against Mount St. Mary's at home on November 7th. Wrapping up sports, the Terps softball team continues to add new faces to its coaching staff with the hiring of Katie Hendershot as an assistant. Hendershot previously worked at Oakland University for 2 years with current Terps softball coach Lauren Karn. Hendershot is also a former softball player, playing at Michigan State where she was an academic All-Big Ten selection 3 times. And that is your Wednesday sports page. Simon Buggs, CTV Sports.
Thanks, Simon. And turning now to your weather forecast. Tonight, mostly clear, lows around 57. Thursday, sunny skies, highs near 79. Friday, partly sunny with evening showers likely, highs in the mid-70s. And Saturday, rain is likely, highs around 69. And that is CTV News for now. I'm Patricia Vallone. Have a great night.